Do you remember Call of Duty 4? Even more importantly, do you remember when they remastered Call of Duty 4 and when they decided it was a great idea to sell this with their sinking ship of Infinite Warfare? Essentially, if you wanted a remaster, you better buy Infinite Warfare first. But how is this game holding up in 2020? Should you buy the remaster? Should you return to a remaster? You have it, or should you play COD 4, the normal Call of Duty 4, not the remastered version? Generally, should you just steer away from this? Let's talk about that. Again, hello, my beautiful and lovely gamers. My name is Jonal. Before the video starts, a like on the video helps against YouTube's algorithm, help promote the video, helps keep the algorithm's blessing on my channel instead of suppressing videos and that kind of stuff, which always is frustrating. Same goes if you like this type of content, subscribe to the channel. It's very much appreciated. So goes with dropping down a comment below. When did you get into the Call of Duty franchise, and what was your thought on COD 4 Remastered if you saw it? Again, for me, this is very important to kind of get the opinions of other people out there, because I personally did not play Call of Duty 4. Call of Duty Remastered was, or COD 4 Remastered was, I had played it a couple of times at friend's house, right? But it was my proper introduction to the campaign. I finally got to play that, and it was also my proper introduction to more of the multiplayer when I was playing the remaster. I have in later days returned to the original Call of Duty 4 on PC, but I didn't play this beforehand. So what is your opinion on the remaster? What is your opinion generally on Call of Duty 4? I know a lot of people keep this game far more in favor compared to what they do with Modern Warfare 2, even though that was the game that I got introduced to. All that thoughts, opinions, so I can learn what people that experienced this a little bit earlier than I did. It's always appreciated. I love to read that kind of stuff and get a little bit more insight into other people's mind and thought process. But that's not what we're here to discuss today. Today we're here to discuss how Call of Duty 4 Remastered is doing, and generally how this game has, in my opinion, failed quite significantly. So the remaster currently has a 24-hour peak of about 50 players, and that's about the average that sits around, and everywhere between currently as I was making this video, which was a Saturday around 6 p.m. ish in European times, there was about 50 players online, and that's also about what is online in the weekend. Sometimes it's less. Sometimes it's about an average of 25 people every day that comes online. This is, with weekdays and so on compared. So to say that the game is dead would be a quite accurate statement. It has been astonishing to see such a low player count, especially when you look at Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, the original game, which had, again, at the same time of recording, had 192 players playing an hour ago, had a 24-hour peak of 200 players compared to Remaster's 49-player peak. Generally, if you look at the two games, the Remaster has an all-time peak of like 6,000 players, while the original Call of Duty Modern Warfare on PC has about 1,100. Now, of course, this is without counting in console. There's no crossplay. This is Steam chart, so this is how it is doing on the PC market. How it's doing on console, I actually don't know, and I couldn't find any details about. So if you play on console, drop your impressions about how those games, if you have any idea how those games are doing on console, because that's not something that I can accurately talk about. What I can talk about is the state of the remaster. And currently, what I would say is the following. If you want to play, like me, you want to experience the Call of Duty 4 campaign, which is an amazing campaign. Seriously, it is, to say that it is underrated, it might be wrong, because it definitely isn't. There's so many people talk how great it is. But if you're like me, who didn't got introduced this as in my childhood or when the game came out, and you skipped it and you played maybe some of the, maybe you played the new Modern Warfare campaign, maybe you played Cold War's campaign, maybe you came into Call of Duty a little bit later, maybe you started in Modern Warfare 2, the Call of Duty Remasters is the best way to, arguably the best way to try to play the campaign. And the campaign is awesome, and that is highly recommended, especially if you have the game currently in your Steam library and it's just laying around. Now, if you don't have the remasters, if you don't have Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remaster, and you want to buy it straight off Steam, it's about 35 euros, and you should not do that. In my opinion, you should not buy this just for, unless you really like the campaign and you really want to experience the campaign. But if you are adding the value of multiplayer, it is not worth it. One, because of the low player count, which can be circumvented. Certainly, I think I had a couple of minutes worth of queue time before I got into a couple lobbies. Sometimes it was like up to 5 or 6 minutes. But if you play, let's say, Overwatch and you queue as TPS, it's, that's nothing, right? And Overwatch queue time, because of the balancing in Overwatch, of course, is if you play ranked, is about 10 minutes. And that's, so again, depending on how you want to argue for queue times. There are, however, less players in the game. This, of course, has no skill-based matchmaking, so if you want to play a game without that, go right ahead. The remaster is really well done in the way that they have recreated every little detail from the original game. So if you are a fan of that, or you want to experience what COD 4 was like, they have essentially recreated that, enhanced the graphics, and also enhanced the hit registration of the game. And that's essentially just what Call of Duty 4 is. It is a really true remaster on the surface, and I want to dive deeper into that, where I think they fucked up big time without any arguments. But on the surface, there are certain bugs and certain weird weapons interactions with certain attachments that was way back in the original one. They have implemented those. They have on purposely coded in bugs and weird interaction with weapons to kind of keep the charm, and weird kind of ways that you can capture points. If you, again, on PC, you have to play Team Deathmatch. That's the only one that's available. But looking from old footage when the game came out, there are weird spots where you can do captures on maps and on flags, which you would think shouldn't be possible, but because of how the engine is kind of built, or how they have essentially made it a very true remaster, they have on purposely implemented that, and I like that. I definitely think that it's not just charming, it's amazing. That is, however, where the praise ends. Again, shooting feels great, good hit rate, the player count is super low, but you can definitely get into a match, and it is, graphically looks great. You can expect your weapons and stuff like that. That's how I got my thumbnail. And also, generally, just the game feels really good. Again, that is not so much about the remaster as it is just that they remastered a game that has very fun, however, old school FPS feelings, right? Again, stuff like, there's no slide, right? You sprint and you crouch. Because you want to slide, there's no sliding. The vaulting mechanics are very old school. The shooting is definitely far, far more old school. And it's a very bare bones, straightforward Call of Duty game. That is the best way to describe what it is, because it is an old school game from 2006 or something like that. And that is what you have to come into with that feeling. It still feels great. It's still super, super fun. Playing Shipment on this game looked good and was super, super fun. And I had a blast with it. However, let's talk about the introduction, which of essentially pay-to-win mechanics, microtransactions. You know how Call of Duty is. If you've seen Call of Duty 4 or you played Call of Duty 3, Black Ops 4, Black Ops 3, you're very aware of these mechanics. They did actually get removed in Modern Warfare. Now it's mainly just skins and cosmetics. But before that, most, or at least stuff like Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4, also stuff like the Infinite Warfare, I do believe, and also do believe Advanced Warfare, correct me on that because I never played Advanced Warfare, have these loot boxes that you can unlock with different ways, either with the classic COD point system, which there is today, where essentially you can buy the loot boxes, or every time you finish a match, you get 1, 2, 4 of these tokens. You can spend 10 to get a normal supply drop and 30 to get a special supply drop. Giving you a higher chance of the rarity of the loot. And you get everything from camos, cosmetic camos, to reticle sides, to cosmetics on your character that you're running around as, to weapons. You also get scrap, which is something that came from Infinite, or at least was in Infinite Warfare as well, where you can kind of, if you want a new weapon, right? So essentially they have taken and added to the weapon roster of COD 4, and they have kind of added all these new weapons. If you want some of those weapons, you can either be lucky and get it in a supply drop, or you can get enough duplicates and sell enough items that you get to get up scrap to kind of buy the different items that you need, because it's like a quest. Like you need this reticle and this camo and this calling card, and then you will craft the gun, and you can do that. You can kind of buy individual things. I remember when I played this, because I played the remaster quite a while back. I was dumb enough to actually spend money on this, so I already had 2 weapons, I do believe, unlocked that was not in the original game. And these weapons are pay to win. Straight up. It is the same thing and the same bullshit that we saw back in Black Ops 3 and in Black Ops 4 with weapons that is added post-game that you unlock through loot boxes. There's some melee weapons, which is fine, I suppose, right? They don't really add much that you have a different melee weapon. But there's all these... and you can even argue that it's fine to add camos. I personally think keeping the camos from the original game when it is a remaster, that they should just do that by default. But sure, add camos, whatever. But a lot of these weapons are straight up pay to win. There are assault rifles. I actually have 3 weapons now, think about it. One of the assault rifles that I have is pretty fucking good. It's a laser. One of my SMGs are way better than something like the MP5 in my opinion. It has more range. It shoots really fast. It has a big ammo capacity. It generally just melts people. And you'll probably seen or will see some gameplay of that SMG when I'm running around with it. It is absolutely insane. I also have a sniper, which is the one that I used for the thumbnail of this. That sniper, as you probably know if you played the game, is not... It looks a little bit like the intervention. It is not... it's called the S-Tag Aggressor, I believe. It's not a part of the original game. It is also a... Like, it's a satisfying sniper. It's a fun sniper to play around with. I think that the snipers in COD 4 was already pretty fucking strong. So you can argue if this is pay to win or not. But it's still an additional weapon. There's also a burst pistol that fires burst rounds, which is fucking insane. Which just melts people. Generally, this game is 110% pay to win. You get benefits if you buy loot boxes. You need to buy loot boxes to grind this game a lot of multiplayer, which is impossible right now due to the low amount of player count, in my opinion. And it just ruins the entire feel of the game when you try to go back and experience a game like this, and you want to kind of experience how the multiplayer was, and then the balance is kind of thrown off by all these new weapons. It kind of just ruins everything. Again, I think there's a very good reason that people has left this game from a 6,000 player peak down to like 49. It doesn't matter. Well, it does matter, of course, but even with like the shitty, idiotic idea of, let's make sure that you had to buy one of our shitty games to get the one that they actually want. It made a lot of people boycott it. I know that it's far more popular probably on console, because these Call of Duty games are poorly optimized for computer. They don't have, for example, a way to set your sensitivity. You need to choose between like presets like low or very low or medium or high or very high sensitivity, instead of having a slider where you can choose exactly what you do. So to get the sensitivity I wanted, I had to go and change the DPI on my mouse, then go back in and then kind of like tweak around with stuff to make it flow perfectly as I wanted it to. There's just all this kind of stuff, and it just adds up. And in my opinion, it is not worth any of the money. Is it fun to revisit it? Kinda. Again, it looks great, and that's really like the only thing that makes this gives you any reason to revisit this is one player single player, just because it is like the original single player, just looks better and has a better atmosphere. Or you should probably then revisit the original Call of Duty if you want to play multiplayer. There's probably worse hit registration and so on, as I talked about before, but it at least, in my opinion, will give you a much more true experience and also a large player count to go for. I also do believe that it is quite cheaper, which of course is just a plus. And again, it doesn't matter. I was going to talk a lot about the fact that when I was playing this game, a lot of people was just camping. I think that is kind of the Call of Duty experience, especially when it comes to these older games. It wasn't very fun. I did meet some people that was absolutely insane, and it was kind of fun not playing with SBMM. And not having skill-based matchmaking was kind of fun, because you got literally everything between, you know, the absolute worst of the worst, people that was like crouching around the map looking at walls, to this insane guy that I met that fucking ran around with a Barrett 50 cal and just like quick scoped everybody and just absolutely dumpstered me. I think it was a really, really fun experience. And I'm glad that I revisited, but I also uninstalled this right before making the review. Which kind of tells you about it, that I won't be returning to the multiplayer. And again, the only reason then, as I said, that you should get this is single player. That's my current opinion on this. Don't buy this unless you really want to try the single player and maybe want to revisit the multiplayer as well as like a side bonus. If not, then go back to the original game. If you just want to play multiplayer, go back to Call of Duty 4. It has a better player base, worse graphic, but a way better player base, and also doesn't have all this shitty pay-to-win guns, which just ruins a lot of the experience. And especially again, we go back for the nostalgia and the feeling of like trying out this, legendary game, and having implemented all kinds of weird pay-to-win weapons ruins that completely. So that's my review. I hope you guys liked it. Again, like, comment, and subscribe. It really means a lot. My Twitter, my Twitch, and the community Discord server is always linked down in the description. Please do take care of stuff. Stay positive. I love you guys very, very much. My name has been Jonal, and you guys keep the enemy in your crosshair.